Hi, I'm Belinda Carley, the Director of the Institute of Personal Care Science, and today I'm going to show you how to create whipped creams and whipped butter products. Now, a whipped cream or whipped butter product is one of those emulsions where you see a really fine, foamy look to it. I'll show you in a moment. And it's really important that you formulate these and manufacture them in a very set way, otherwise you won't keep that beautiful whipped appearance to the product. So let me show you how. Here's an example of a whipped cream product. You can see it's got this beautiful, fine, whipped appearance to it, and it feels absolutely delightful. Now, there's a few tricks to make sure that you create a whipped product that rubs in easily, as you can see, and also maintains its stability over a long shelf life. Now, in this video, I'm also using materials that a lot of small brands can access readily. One of the first things we need to do is create our gel base in our product, and I'm using very natural materials in this formula as well. So I am slurrying my gum in the first step. It's important to use a relatively high input of the gum and also a gum that will swell instantly, because your gum is going to help trap the air bubbles in the finished product until the wax sets. So if we use a gum that takes until the next day to swell properly, it won't stabilize that beautiful whipped appearance. Also, in this formula, I'm using 15% lipid, so it won't feel tacky even though I'm using a relatively high proportion of gum. Now I need to heat my water and oil phase to form the emulsion. You'll notice in this formula I'm using a fair bit of emulsifying wax. Even with that much emulsifying wax, it still is a cream-like consistency. So if you want more of a buttery consistency, increase the high HLB waxy emulsifier content. You'll notice I've got a little bit of low HLB emulsifier in this formula, and that's to help reduce any excess white rub-in time that would otherwise be created by trapping so much air into the formula. It may be tempting in this type of formula to use a high input of butters, but limit the butter input to 5 or 10% at an absolute maximum. Otherwise, your finished product can be too sensitive to temperature-induced viscosity changes. And of course, if that happens, you may start to lose viscosity and you may start to lose some of that beautiful whipped appearance. So you need your emulsifying waxes to build the body in this product, and it also builds that structure and keeps that beautiful whipped appearance over the shelf life of the product. Then you need to mix at very high shear, and one of the tricks with mixing is normally I'm telling you not to include air in your formula. In this case, we want to suck a lot of air into this product. So if you have a stick blender, you can use it. If you have a homogenizer, use it at a really high speed, around 20,000 RPM. And of course, in large scale production batches, make sure you create a vortex to really suck the air into the product. Otherwise, it just won't turn into this beautiful whipped looking finished cream. Have a look at the bubbles we've created there. Now, some of these will of course come out, but we've used high melting point setting waxes so that the gum will hold the air in there now, and then as the waxes cool, they will set and hold the air in the formula. Now we just need to add preservative and antioxidant. You can also add fragrance or other extracts at this time. Give it another stir, and then we need to check and adjust pH. And there we have our beautiful finished whipped cream product. Now just remember, on the day of manufacture, it will be a slightly lower viscosity, but it will set to this nice cream consistency by the next day. And of course, if you want to make more of a butter, you can just use some more emulsifying waxes to help build that viscosity. So a couple of things to help you be successful when you're creating your whipped products. Number one, you need to use a gum that is okay with high shear, because as you saw, I used a lot of high shear to create the whipped appearance. You also need to use a gum that will hydrate instantly. Now, I used a really easy to obtain grade of xanthan gum. You can use something else, but with the high lipid input, it really does not feel tacky at all in this formula, yet it hydrates straight away. It can handle all the shear that I put through the formulation during manufacture, and it also helps boost the stability of the formula long term as well, while also trapping that air in the early stages. The other thing that's really important with this formula is to use a lot of emulsifying waxes, predominantly high HLB, but you'll need a small input of low HLB emulsifying waxes in here as well to help stop any excess white rub-in time. That excess white rub-in time is called microfoam, and if you don't have a little bit of low HLB emulsifier present, you'll find that the product, because of the air entrapped in the formula, could take a long time to rub in. In this formula, I've used 15% of lipids, but I've used a combination that means the end product doesn't feel greasy at all. You can always change these lipids to suit the skin feel and the spread that you're looking for. Remember not to use too much low HLB emulsifier, otherwise you could destabilize your emulsion, especially with so much lipid present. Make sure you incorporate antioxidant if you're using any materials prone to oxidation, like vegetable oils or essential oils. And of course, make sure you introduce a lot of air. So in a small lab setup, if you only have a stick blender, now's the time to use it. If you have a homogenizer, make sure you use that and introduce a lot of air while you're stirring. When you're creating larger batches, you'll need to make sure that you use a large vat compared to the manufacturer size, so that you can create a really strong vortex to really pull air into the formula. Otherwise, you just won't get the whipped appearance. Make sure it's whipped extra well prior to cooling, because you're relying on your gums to hold the air in the formula until your waxes start to set, which is typically overnight. So you need to make sure you use a combination of the gums and emulsifying waxes, like I've used in my formula, to help make sure you trap the air to keep that whipped appearance and ensure long-term stability of your formulation. Well, there you go. That's how to create beautiful whipped creams and butter products. If you liked this video, please give us a like, and make sure if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the space below. And of course, subscribe to find out about all sorts of formulation tips and tricks with the Institute of Personal Care Science. Happy formulating!